Welcome everyone. So today I'm going to share my Accenture interview experience, or you can say Accenture interview questions that I have encountered in my recent interview with Accenture. So let me give a quick introduction of ourselves here. You can go through the slide. In the meanwhile, we are a bunch of software engineers who are attending interviews with different MNCs and sharing our interview experiences in the form of videos on YouTube. You can visit our channel and you can find different interview experiences that we have already shared. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can subscribe our channel and you can get the latest updates as well. So this video contains Java interview questions, Spring Boot interview questions, REST interview questions, DB related questions, manager round interview questions, and the HR discussion. So I would quickly like to start with the HR discussion here. So it was a very short discussion with HR, and it was and like she offered me a 60% hike on my current package. That's it. I don't want to give out the numbers here, but just want to say the percentage of hike. So let us start. So firstly, there were general questions. So this video contains all the interview questions that I have been encountering in all my rounds. So the general questions are like, tell me about yourself, explain your project architecture, how much do you rate yourself in the technologies that I have mentioned in my resume, any specific achievement that I would like to inform or mention there in the interview. So out of these four questions, the most important preference I would like to give is like explaining the project architecture. This is the one decider question which says whether you are in or out. Within first 100 seconds itself, they'll decide whenever you're trying to explain your project architecture. And if you're not very good at explaining your project architecture, I would like suggest you to please prepare well on that question. So let us start the Java interview questions that I have been encountered. So first interview question was like, what are the what are the performance implications of interfaces over abstract classes? So I have tried to give a short answer also here. So interfaces are slower in performance as compared to abstract classes because of the extra indirections that are required for interfaces. So that is a very short answer I have given. If you want, you can stay on this halt the video and you can go through the entire answer as well. So the next question is, there were coding questions also. So how to find duplicate characters in a string. So the example also I've given, like if the input string is better and butter, I have to print the output as how many times each character got repeated. So T got repeated 4 times, E got repeated 3 times, and so on, like that. So I hope many of you must be knowing the solution as well. So let me quickly jump to the next question. Write a Java program to find the second largest number in an array of numbers. So even this is, I would say, the average interview question, because I was preparing very well on the coding part. So for me it looked very easy at that moment. So then this question, write a code to compare two custom objects using comparator and comparable, using both. He asked me to write and asked me like in which scenario I'll go with what, like in which scenario I'll use comparator and in which scenario I'll use comparable. So the next question is, what is the difference between an inner class and a subclass? So it is a very generic question. So an inner class is a class which is nested within another class, whereas a subclass is a class which inherits from another class. So one is resides one inside one class and one gets inherited from other class. This is a short answer, and I am keeping the answers very short so that the video length gets reduced. I hope you people understand that. So the next question is, what's the purpose of static methods and static variables? So when there is a requirement to share a method or a variable between multiple objects of a class, instead of creating separate copies of each object, we can use static keyword to make a method or variable shared for all objects. This is the short answer that I have provided here. So the next question is, what is data encapsulation and what's its significance? So this is one of the OOPS concepts. So if you're not aware of it, please go through it. I have given a short description of that answer. What is singleton class? Give a practical example of its usage. So singleton, I hope everybody must be aware of it. If you're an experienced guy, I hope you will be knowing what is singleton. And coming to the real time example is like whenever we are trying to connect to a database and there is a restriction of some driver classes, so at that time we can go with singleton classes. And what is the difference between continue and break statements? See, many people get confused here, so be very cautious while answering this question. To be honest, even I got confused for a second in the interview. What is multi-threading? So we can put it in this way, like multi-threading is a programming concept to run multiple tasks in a concurrent manner with a simple program. So this is a short answer I would like to give, and there were many questions on this as well. In the upcoming slides I will be sharing those as well. So describe different states of a thread. So basically a thread is like there are 5 stages a thread resides, like ready, running, waiting, and dead. Sorry, 4. So I have given the descriptions as well, you can go through it. What is executors framework? So executor framework is a framework for standardizing invocation, scheduling, execution, and control of asynchronous tasks according to a set of execution policies. So if you are not aware of it, please go through it. This is a very good concept in multi-threading. So then I would like the next section is like Spring and Spring Boot questions. So the first question was like on what all modules I have worked in Spring. So I have explained in detail like what all modules I have worked and why I have worked only on those modules. To be honest, I haven't worked on all the modules of Spring. So I have explained in him the same. So what is dependency injection? This is one of the most common interview questions in Spring. I hope everyone knows this. Which dependency injection would you suggest, constructor based or setter based? So if all the parameters are what do we say are mandatory, then I'll go with constructor based. If there are optional parameters, then I would say go with setter. So what is AOP? And then there was related questions on AOP, like what is AOP? I have explained him in detail. Like this all questions were in detail explained answers, so don't think it was in a vague answers here. So be prepared for that also. What bean scopes does Spring support and explain them? So I have to explain all the bean scopes that Spring supports in detail and in which scenario I go with what. So what are the types of transaction management Spring supports? So Spring support 2 transaction managements. So if you're not aware of it, please go through it. You have to explain those 2 in detail with examples as well. So what is a dispatcher servlet? So this is also known as a front controller, front controller, and every request by has to go through this dispatcher servlet. This comes as part of Spring MVC. So if you're not aware, please go through this as well. What all annotations have you used? So I have said a list in number of like list 10 to 15 annotations of Spring Boot that I have used, and explained each and every annotation in detail to him, like in which scenario what I have used, what is the importance of the annotations, and all such things. So create a sample Spring Boot application was the next question. So it was a pretty much easy question, to be honest, because I have created a lot of Spring Boot applications in my project as well. So it was a bit easy for me. If you're not aware of it, please go through it. So what are the advantages of Spring Boot over Spring? There are n number of advantages. Just you need to configure the dependencies properly, then everything runs as a magic. Directly a production ready code can be written using Spring Boot. So how to read multiple values of a query parameters in Jack's RESTful web services. So he has given me an example like the above thing, like how are we going to read that, and I was asked to write the code for this. So you can go through the code, like we have to go through the context URI info. So using that we can read the parameters in the URL. You can halt a video for a second and you can go through the code as well. So the next question was like what are the different methods I have used in the REST? So rest support different methods, put, post, get, delete. So I have to explain him in detail, so in which scenario I will go with what. So there was one more question like, can we pass a JSON in the get request? Straightforward answer is no. So what are the disadvantages of statelessness in RESTful web services? So as far as I know, at that moment only one thing knocked me, like we have to send some extra information in every request, as this is a stateless. That is the only disadvantage I feel, and I have answered in that scenario for that question. So what do you mean by idempotent operation? So idempotent operation is nothing but, do you perform the operation for n number of times, the same result, it will yield the same result. So such kind of operations are called idempotent operation. For example, get. So the next question is like, different HTTP status codes that I know, and what do they represent, like 200, 503, 500, 403, and all such thing. He was asking me in which scenario what you will return from to the UI from your API. So then these are some questions related to databases. So I was asked to write a query to find the second highest salary. So I was well prepared for this, so I was able to write it using the rank function. Next was like, write a query to find the employees who has more salary than their managers. So this is a bit tricky question. So even this I was able to answer it, though my query was not that good, but I was still able to fetch the results. Write a query to find employees who share the same manager. So even this was a bit simple thing. One more thing I forgot to mention here, like when I was writing query, he was expecting me to explain each and every word I was writing in the query. So these are the manager round interview questions which I'm going to share now. Like, the first question was like, is there anything that you do not like about your last or current job? So to be honest, I said there is nothing. I said straightforward answer like no, because you cannot say that you don't like your current company, or that gives a bad impression. So I cooked up a story and said, yeah, no, I'm looking out for a few more challenging roles and all such things. That's why I'm shifting. So next question is, what do you do to improve your knowledge? So obviously every Java developer will be going out to different websites or YouTube videos to increase their knowledge. Even I said the same thing to him. So next question, can you perform under pressure? Yes, to be honest, straightforward answer was yes, because in each and every development project there is a pressure of delivery. Every Java developer can work under pressure, up to my knowledge. So what motivates you at work? To be honest, money motivates me, but I didn't answer that. Just kidding. I said challenging environment, new technology learnings, and all those things, all such stuff, to answer this question. So I hope I am done with all the interview questions that I encountered in the Accenture interview rounds, all the rounds. And if you like it, please do subscribe, like, share, comment, and you can provide the feedback as well. If you want to contribute us, you can mail us in the given mail ID. You can find it in the description as well. And thank you for watching.